Okay, so we're going to start analysing some sun angles here now and see what happens. I might just open up the materials dialog box first. Drop down in the drop down list in your materials, through around about here, and find your translucent materials, and one of them you've got there is just translucent glass blue. And just for the moment I might open up this panel by making it translucent, and I might even just open up this front door by making it translucent, and that might just help us analyse whether we're going to get sun in through if we are going to use any glass elements in this building. So you can choose what you think might be a glass element. At this stage I don't want to break this wall up, break any of the walls up into pieces and put other windows in, but just these main elements that I want to try and analyse with the sun just on the main elements for the moment. I'm just changing to translucent so that I can see what's going on inside the building a little bit. And it doesn't matter anyway, you're going to see the sun shadows on the walls. After we have saved this as a mass model that's easily and simply able to be imported to our BIM software, I'm keeping everything very simple up until that stage. Then after that we can continue to detail this model with more windows etc. on it. Now, before we start, I'll just close the materials box. Before we start analysing any sun angles, we better set up our locations correctly. So under the window menu at the top, most important area, we can go to the model info dialog box, and if you come down to location about halfway through your list, select location, and then you can change your country to Australia using the scrolls, and you can change your location within Australia to Brisbane, or you could set your custom location. If you actually know the accurate latitude and longitude of your site, you can go into set custom location and type in actual latitudes and longitudes, or you can actually gather up your location from Google Earth as well. But just for this exercise, I don't think Google Earth is installed on the college computers, so just for this exercise we'll just pick country Australia, location Brisbane, the Sunshine Coast very close to Brisbane. Now the next thing we need to do is select our north angle. So if we hit the select button and come back into the drawing editor, just select a location anywhere on the screen, it doesn't matter, towards the front of the building, and then rotate your cursor around until it's pointing in this direction, which is what we're going to analyse this building on, is north and just being in that direction. So set your north point to there. If you're not sure if you've actually done that correctly, you can click this checkbox here, show in model, and that shows a orange line emanating from the origin in the north direction. So I normally leave that turned off as I leave this dialog box. So we've set up our north location now. What we can do now is we can turn our display shadows button on up here, and you can display your shadows, and then you can also change time of day, so we can sort of pick something fairly early in the morning, say. And I'll show you how you can get a bit more accurate with that later, and then you can check at different times of year what those sun angles are going to do. Okay, so I'm particularly looking, at this front entry area as to what's happening in summer. That's what it's looking like, and as we're going to winter, you can see we're getting quite a lot of winter sun penetration onto this wall, so we'll be able to open that wall up with some nice windows, and those windows will let a lot of winter sun penetrate inside the building. But at the same time, if I go through to midsummer, you can see that even early in the morning, as the day goes on, less sun gets through, but even early in the morning there's going to be no sun penetrating to those walls. We get a little bit of sun penetrating through here, and I'll just have a look at what this sun effect has in the middle of summer from very early in the morning. Okay, so we can see we're dark, and as we come up to sunrise, I'm getting a little bit of very early 4:30 in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning sun penetrating into the building here, but not much. And then, okay, we've got a little bit penetrating through to this area, so there is some summer penetration through there, but then very quickly it disappears and it has only a small effect in that corner of the building. So from that, another thing I've just noticed here, we probably should pull this veranda roof here out until it extends to that main roof up there, and I'm not too sure what effect that will have in the early morning. Probably doesn't have too much of effect because the roof is fairly high at that time. We can look through there, and you can just see that, you know, maybe you consider that not to be too bad, sun penetration to summer, or maybe you consider that's not a very good idea and you might sort of cut that down, or you can keep playing with things. We're still on the wall layer. You might come up to say 300 millimeters high or 450 millimeters high, and maybe another 450 on the other side I might need, and then I might just close off this here, and I might just set that material back to be the default material. Probably easier if I just open up the materials. I can use this little eyedropper to suck up that material there and drop that material back down on here. And that might, and then I might have a look inside here now to see how that affects the summer sun angles as I change from early morning. Yeah. So you can make up your decision there as to whether that little window in the northeastern corner was a good idea or not, or whether you have to change that and do some different things with it. Okay, so but certainly across the front of the building here, I'm pretty happy with that as being midsummer, and having a look from early morning through to late afternoon. This front wall of the building's nicely protected in summer, yet that same wall in midwinter, if we get to a midwinter point there, or somewhere around about there, we can see from very early in the morning we're getting nice sun penetration onto that wall, and through the afternoon we're just sliding that through. So that's how you can analyse your design, to pick up a few little different things in terms of the analysis of the sun. Okay, might just stop the video there at that point too.